Welcome back, guys. Happy Monday to you all. Monday, April 21st, Easter Monday at the White House. We got a lot to talk about today. Going to be an epic show today. Some crazy stuff going on. We had a judge in New Mexico that resigned. He was literally harboring a TDA gang member. We're going to get into all that. We're going to do a little review of our travels over the weekend to some of the Unite the White rallies. Those are the Tesla protests, the 5150s, also known as 5051 protests. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, including now we have 4 more elected representatives over in El Salvador on your tax dollars. To try and, I guess you could say in reality, smuggle a MS-13 gang member back into the United States. And we got a lot to cover today. Got some highlights of Trump out the White House with all the kids. We just got a whole lot to go on. The Pope has passed away. It was interesting last night when I was when I was laying down, I was doing a little show prep, seeing what was going on. And one of the things I would talk about today was J.D. Vance had visited the Pope yesterday, spent a little time with him. So we got a little of that video, and we're going to talk to you all. Let me run over here into the chat really quick. Trina in the house. How are you doing, Trina? Thank you for your help. Cade, Texas says, happy Monday. Howdy, Josh and the Oreo Army. Hope everything's good in Tejas. See Marcia, Pixie, old Uncle Bill's in the house. Let's see who else. We got Hunter. What's up, Hunter? Thank you guys for tuning in. Susan Spencer, Rob Wallace, Deb V, Rockstar's in the house. Hey, Rockstar, I heard they're pulling out all the fire pits and the beaches in San Diego. One of our Patriot brothers put that up there. That's sad. Mater TJ, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. Texas Bigfoot's also in the house. Thank you guys. Don MC 1976 says, hello. So we're going to get through all that and a whole lot more. I hope you guys had a good Easter weekend. We went to church yesterday, had just an epic church service, man. It was great. Always packed on Easter. And we came home, and then we had some family over last night. Caden did some Easter egg hunts, and it was just a good Easter. All in all, it was a good Easter. And I hope you guys had a great Easter too. Resurrection. I kept saying, you guys are gonna laugh at me. I talk about insurrection so much, they call us insurrectionists, and I said Happy Insurrection Day, I think, to my sister. But anyways, it wasn't an insurrection, it was a resurrection day. And so hopefully you guys had a good weekend. If you had an opportunity to see family or friends, good for you. Good on it. So let's get into it. This was J.D. Vance yesterday, meeting with the Pope. And we'll talk a little bit about this.
Pray for you every day. God bless you. So good to see you. Good morning. How are you? Find yourself. Good. Yeah, thank you. I've not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health.
Grazie, Santo Padre.
Thank you.
These are for your children.
Okay, thank you.
These are the gifts. These are also gifts for you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
The Vatican tie, and then the rosaries for your wife, the white for your children, and the red one is for. Thank you very much for your visit.
Of course, and thank you for seeing me. Pray for you every day. God bless you.
Io prego per lei ogni giorno, che Dio la benedica. Grazie, Santo Padre.
Happy Easter.
So that was just hours before I seen this last night, and then I woke up to news that the Pope had passed. And J.D. Vance put this up on here. It says, I just learned the passing of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill. but I'll always remember him for the below homily he gave in the early days of COVID. It was really quite beautiful. May God rest his soul. And so again, that was one of a lot of people, and again, a lot of people in that I know that are Catholics didn't appreciate that he was the Pope. I guess you could say he was pretty far on the liberal side. He had been ill for some while. He just had double pneumonia. We didn't cover it extensively, but we talked about it on the show just to give updates. And so now they're going to be choosing a new Pope. And the makeup of those who choose the Pope, I was looking at a chart today, and I guess the description you could use is not conservative, but moderately conservative, if you will. That Pope was what some would say far left. A lot of people have actually left the Catholic Church because they feel it's moved away from the original teachings. And a lot of people want to get back to the basics of serving God. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, prayers to his family and all his extended people there. Hopefully for those Catholics, they get a Pope who, I'm trying to think of a Pope actually. I mean, earlier on in my lifetime, there was some popes that were pretty, I guess, strict in the religion, not allowing, again, what you see with churches, and this is every religion, every denomination, but what you see is culture influencing the church rather than the church taking a stand and say, hey, this is what it says. This is the Bible. It's in black and white right here. So, and so right when I read that the Pope had passed, I didn't even have to go look. I said, oh, the left is going to say J.D. Vance tried to kill him. And sure enough, there's all these conspiracy theories now online. And we're going to talk about the conspiracy theories again with Pete Hegseth after we're pulling traitors out of these departments, and they're leaking to the press. We're going to get into that. This was Caden yesterday. He was doing his Easter thing. He was coloring his eggs. Let me pull this up.
Happy Easter.
Say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
That was him coloring those eggs right there. And we'd never used one of those before. I've seen him going around online. And when we were at the store, I was like, you know what? He'll love to do this. Because me and Robert were talking back when we were kids. It was like, when I was a kid, actually, it was vinegar and food coloring, like literally the food coloring my mom used for baking. And then you got the little packages with the little things where it would go down there and it would fizz, and you would use that little metal thing you'd have to bend up yourself to dip the eggs in, and you would flip the eggs over and turn it back down. So he enjoyed doing this. He had fun. And then I think there's another one here. Let's see. Come on. And this is, man, artist in the work, guys. Check that out. Those are some of the eggs he colored yesterday. And it was good stuff. Good stuff. How things changed, though. I mean, that little thing, you put some batteries in it, you turn it on, and he enjoyed it. So now let's move over to, now I'm going to tell you, they say Trump isn't bringing diversity into the White House, but if you look at this new Easter bunny, I'm going to say it's pretty diverse, if you ask me.
That's why you see the kind of numbers that you're seeing, the spirit and the kind of numbers. Easter is special, and it's one of our favorite days. It's one of our favorite periods of time. We're honoring Jesus Christ, and we're going to honor Jesus Christ very powerfully throughout our lives, all throughout our lives, not just now, all throughout our lives. We're bringing religion back in America. We're bringing a lot of things back, but religion is coming back to America. That's why you see the kind of numbers that you're seeing, the spirit and the kind of numbers that you're seeing. So,
It's such a difference, you know. This morning, obviously, they're doing, I think, what they call the Easter egg roll at the White House. All kind of video with Trump with kids. We got a couple funny ones. There's some things Trump says that aren't like hard hitting, but it just cracks you up. Like when he makes comments to the media, we have a couple of those. There was all the videos going around from last year where the Easter Bunny had to guide Joe Biden around. I didn't pull those up. But you know, we have kind of a, I don't know how long the show's gonna be, but I was like, you know what, check this out. This is just great.
You know, where your mom and dad said they I'm really into this. No, I'm really into this. It's white crayon. What am I going to do? Leave it white? I guess. Leave the whole thing white. Okay, smile up there, kids. You know, where your mom and dad said they
He's over there coloring with the kids. You know, again, after all the media attacks him, when you've read the books about him, when you've listened to actual people that aren't political hacks or anything like that, and you know, the good things he's done for people over the years. I put this up. I thought this was kind of funny. And look at the difference, the comparison. Look at, there's Jill, there's Joe with a mask on. They even got the Easter Bunny with a mask on. And there you have Trump and Melania and the Easter Bunny of color. He's a bunny of color, not a white one, not a white one. I thought that was funny. But you know, that's pretty cool. And listen to Trump right here. This is kind of funny. They're doing their little Easter egg thing out there. Showing Caden some of the videos and some of the pictures. Take a look at this.
Look at that. Look behind. What nice, the best people. They have good days and they have bad days, but we all do, right? Everything good? Everything all right? You want an egg? I'll give you a couple of eggs.
He's talking to the press and he's all, you want an egg? I'll give you a couple eggs. We have good days and we have bad days, but we all do. You gotta love he is a comedian. People that's been around him and been around him a lot, they're like, this guy, he is funny. So over the weekend, now that we got the two headline news things that we wanted to start off with, which was the Pope passing away, JD Vance visits over there. What's going on? I'll call it Easter Monday at the White House. We were out and we went back to our friends in Dublin, the ones that worked really hard trying to spread misinformation about myself and Roberto. And so we were like, you know what? They're going to have another one down there. We're going to get there a little early and we're going to take the Tesla corner and we're just going to hold down the fort there and watch what happens. Well, it was probably, and I have to say I've been to a lot of events, but if I had to guess, probably the whitest, I'm talking skin color, paleness, rally that I've attended, seen, been to. Absolutely no diversity. So we went there. I'll show you some pictures. I call it the Unite the White rally. And that's pretty much what it appeared to be. Got a couple pictures here from across the street. If you look at these people, there is absolutely no diversity. I picked 2, possibly 3 people that were not white out of the whole thing. And again, I don't care what your rally has. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy. And again, when we say from what we see on the road and what we do all the time, and we've said that. I remember saying that, what was it, with Jason, when we would do our podcast after January 6th, we'd always say, and we would emphasize, usually it's the female, but the white liberal is what is destroying this country. When it came to Black Lives Matter, it was only engaging and pushed forward by the white liberal. And I remember when me and Jason, I think it was when we met, what's his name? Julius from Sacramento. I think we met him and we told him, yeah, we're going to go undercover at Black Lives Matter. We're going to put a black bloc on and go undercover and see what happens. And when we got there, I was more worried about Jason getting made because he was black, put it that way. It was just the extremist leftists. But what we notice is the people doing the events, the people promoting the events, the people lying about the events were all white liberals. And it's the same thing when you see the Hamas groups that were out protesting when we went to a lot of places. Again, it was the white liberal that is pushing this more than anyone else. And so when we see these things, I just find it absolutely incredible, how that goes. Let me see if I can pull something up really quick. I didn't pull up, but, looking at the time, I think we have time. Let me pull this up really quick. Why does it always ask me to sign into Rumble? Let's go over to my content really quick, and then I'm going to pull something up. So when we got there, obviously we got there early. I found the spot I wanted to go to. When we got there, we took the corner, we set up the camera, everything, had a nice, beautiful cigar out there. And we're waiting for them to show up, and they started showing up. And at first people thought, oh, that's part of our group. And then when they realized we weren't part of the group, they're really disappointed. And so all we did was sit out there. Their side had a megaphone. It wasn't their side. I don't know what you'd call it. My side's a megaphone because it's MAGA. And they had all these noise makers and everything else. And they ended up calling the police on us. So the organizer that called the police on us the first time we were there, that we broke, actually, when I was assaulted there, called the police that time too. So they end up coming over and they're telling people to leave our side of the corner. Come on, the police are already on the way. And I'm like, the police are on the way. I never left a 6 square foot area. I think you guys that were watching know it. I'm going to show you this little video right here. And it was just interesting because I felt it was a waste of time again, I don't know. I didn't look at the crime statistics. I don't know if cars were being stolen or what these officers could have been doing. They were good guys. They were fair. But what was interesting is they shut themselves down. They actually had a little energy. I bring energy to these things because a lot of times they are just lethargic. Again, and we know most of them are, I guess you could say, pretty old, to say the least. It's actually sad. We got another video coming up. I'll show you that just the way the media has lied to these people. So this video I'm going to show you here was from the live stream that day. I want you to watch how they had called the police. They had ran right over to police. They wanted me removed. They don't like the First Amendment. They only want speech that they agree with. Didn't that sound like 2016, 2017, 2018? The whole COVID thing, remember that? But take a look here. Take a look here. So you can see the police walking over right there. You see everybody in the video is white.
I raised my daughter
turn this around. So it's gonna be great.
See what the hell this interview goes?
No, I don't even have to. Good. Exercising my First Amendment right. How are you gentlemen doing?
Yes, you are. I do have one request, though, and it's purely just city municipal code. We have to tell them the exact same thing. Use the bullhorn has to stop. You guys can do whatever you want other than the IVET. More than welcome to. And I'm all for everything that you want to.
Can you just give me that code so I can have it down for reference?
Absolutely. It's 5 point.
Hold on 1 second.
What is the code reference?
It's noise complaints. Noise
Yeah, use
ordinance,
some mechanical
constant,
stuff.
persistent, and intermittent use of the noise and whatever else.
They have 2 medical concerns.
I know, and I just told them the same thing.
They're not
And
used
it's,
for help.
I know, and because we talked to them first. Now, here's the thing. Whatever you guys want to do.
No, I just want to know that way because before I go do a
Absolutely.
podcast, I want to know what laws
Absolutely.
are different in different cities.
Yeah.
It's
5.28.020. That is the.
Would that also be included? Because if it's constant noise, that would be horns.
It's not just. You're right. It is. But this is things that are intermittent. As for the horns and those things for the cars, right? I can't control them because I have to talk to those people. And if they're passing through, I can also say that I can stop those cars and say that that's improper use of a horn. You know that, and I know that. But if you guys are here constantly within the city bounds of the businesses and those things, we get pressure from the city. So here's the deal, straight up. We told them stop use with the bullhorn and their drums and their stuff for the exact same reason. We're asking you to stop purely for the bullhorn. That's it. You guys do what you do. Question. They're saying people are over here using specific words they're interpreting as challenging to fight. Do you guys know anything about that?
No, actually. Hey, while you are here, I got a serious question. So I came out last month.
Okay.
I was assaulted 2 times on camera. One of those individuals are here. Can I file a police report? I have it on camera.
I have no idea.
I mean, we came out here. I do this.
What's first? I have to see the video and I have to ask what is the definition of the assault and whatnot because
I had my bullhorn like this. They came up and went like that and shoved it back into my face, and I know that's assault. Even though it's California, I know that's assault.
It is. They're also going to be returning to try and file charges.
I'm the one that they can do all that, but I'm the one with a camera and video.
Okay.
So, and again, like I said, they're wasting your time as it is out here already.
Well, we're here. This isn't a waste of time. The whole point of all this is literally make sure things stay peaceful and we abide by the laws within the city. That's it.
As long as I've been here, nobody's threatened. We haven't threatened anybody.
They don't like.
So here's the deal. Listen. You gotta listen to my words. I know. I was gonna say you gotta listen to my words exactly. Okay. I didn't say that you threatened anybody. I said somebody interpreted it as such. I want to know your side.
Okay, this is a party that interprets men as women, so I'm not even gonna go there.
The reason I'm bringing it up, but honestly, the reason I'm bringing it up is please just choose words wisely because if people say things that do get to a direct aspect of like, hey, come fight me here now, it becomes criminal in nature. I'm not here to deal with that stuff. You guys choose me. I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying?
No, we got here early. We stayed here. We're not going. We're not. Their party's coming over here trying to say, and you know what it is. I'm not again.
And all I'm doing is clearing out. If somebody calls and says something, I'm going to address it.
No, I
can't say anything
I
else
appreciate
has
that.
Other than that, the only other thing that I can address literally is just noise ordinance stuff within the city, which is why I'm asking about the bullhorn. That's it.
Now, is there a certain decibel level on the bullhorn?
There isn't anything on the actual municipal code. It says it's pretty vague. That just says anything that's either constant, persistent, or intermittent, which would be considered.
There is a decimal level, but
so like
but as far as noise,
you can't be loud.
It still says the mechanically can't do that.
Oh, yes. It has like specific things, not just the amount of noise in those. It has like emitted or mechanical devices or certain things like that. So, including their drums, their whatnot.
Yeah, because I mean they're doing it right now. They're shaking that. So as long as they keep it down, if they don't do it again, I won't. As soon as they turn it on, I'm going to go right back, and that's only fair.
That's the thing.
That's
that's reasonable. I'm not saying one thing or another. And if we get called back, we're going to address the exact same thing.
So what if we call them back on them?
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But it's not.
I just don't want it to be one side can do this and you can't. That's it. And I'm not saying you.
We talked to them first. I told them the first same thing, and they were the first ones to get shut down, and I let them know the exact same code, specifically saying the exact same stuff.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. Like I said, as long as those bells stop and then they're not using any type of
noisemakers, that's fine. Then I won't. I'll
If
keep
they
it down.
are, call us. That way we can address that. But it doesn't make it
Yeah,
right that just because they do it, you're allowed to do it.
I get where you're
Nobody's allowed to
coming.
do it.
I get where you're coming from, but again, I would just go tell. I mean, they're doing it while you're here. They're doing it while you're here. So I'm just telling you, you're using it now. So
We're gonna go address that again.
all right, thank you. I appreciate you. You guys have a good day. Thank you. I love your weather here. I love your weather here.
So watch when he goes and tells them they got to stop using the
Fresno area.
board.
I'm from Clovis, actually. Oh, I will get your card before I leave. Let's keep these cats, baby! Thank you, Elon! Thank you, Elon! They don't realize I'm louder than my megaphone. And she's still got her a noisemaker. If it wouldn't have took me away from the live, I would have filed a police report on that guy. But you know what? Nothing would happen. But I just wanted to prove to them because they didn't want to come out here and do a report. I appreciate they're coming out when they're called. But again, these people, you call the police on somebody and think about that because they're exercising their First Amendment right. Ooh, they're arguing. So that guy's threatening. Hold on. So the organizer's asking them to go across the street. They are saying no. And he said, listen, if you don't go across the street, you're no longer part of our group. Sorry, I had to get away from the camera so I could do the Trump dance for everybody.
These cops are talking to him about the cowbell right now.
Yeah! Let's go, Elon! We thank you, Trump! We thank you, Trump!
Here it goes. Look at
the lady right now. They're gonna go over the cowbell lady.
Look at her face.
Look at her face. Look at her face. And then the other group is left our corner. They're mad. They're going home. They didn't like the way they were told what to do.
Oh man. So it was interesting to say the least. It's great when they call the cops on me, and they are the ones that shut themselves down. After that, you could literally hear the pin drop. They went to all four corners, the little organizers, and said, hey, don't engage. Ignore him. Because we had ones that, they're just rabid. They see you and they just got to keep yelling stuff. Trump's a rapist and all this stuff. And then it totally silenced them. And we were out there yelling, we can't hear you. And you could tell they were defeated. And right on the dot at 1:30, we said, hey, about 1:15, hey, you guys got 15 more minutes till you can clock out. And sure enough, it happened. And I just want to show you some other ones. This was outside of Nashville Centennial Park right here. And I was amazed at this too. One of the left-wing media said another big turnout of anti-Trump protesters today outside Nashville Centennial Park. And I was like, holy cow, even here. What do you notice about this crowd? Watch this. Pause it. Look at that. Look at that. Let me refresh it so it can go through this whole thing. Because I was like it must be like a whites only. Like this is back in the drinking fountain days where blacks and whites, and if you were white, you had one. If you were what they call a person of color, you got another one. These protests right here. Oh, that one wasn't part of it, darn it. Once again, guys, not too much differences between these events across the United States. They did have a guy get arrested in D.C. Now, there was multiple arrests, but this one was in D.C. This person assaulted a Trump supporter out there. And I want you to see when, you know, these people are the same people that with Trump said, nobody is above the law. Nobody's above the law. But when you assault somebody, and hats off to Capitol Police or Parks Police, because in Fresno, this wouldn't have happened. In Fresno, they worry more about upsetting the group of individuals who are protesting the Tesla dealership, as we know, because they don't want to incite some anger. But take a look at this.
Get back. That's enough cops. That's enough cops. That's enough.
I'm complying. Get back. Move. Get back. Everybody get back.
Right here.
Listen, here comes their cult chant.
Shame.
Take a picture. I'm a veteran. I fought for this country, not this shit.
Look more like a domestic terrorist to me. Nobody's above the law, buddy. Oh, that's only, I get it. That's only on certain things. And I pointed out, if you guys watch the live stream, I encourage you to go back and watch the live stream, at least the first one from Dublin. I pointed out an elderly lady in like one of those walker chairs. And she was fighting for Social Security and Medicaid because, again, they have believed the lie of the left. There is a big psyop going on between media and the Democrat Party and really globalism that wants to take out what Trump is trying to do. Again, they don't want the United States to be independent and they want us to be the welfare state. They want to push us into the socialist, communist agenda. And I seen this right here. This was actually in San Diego, California. And it's sad because if these people knew the truths, and that, you guys hear me say all the time, can you pull up the bill that says they're going to cut Medicaid or Social Security? And they never can. They always say they've never read the bill, but they've believed CNN, MSNBC, and the Democrat organizations that are emailing them to get out of their house on Saturday. Oh, they're going to take away your Social Security. They're going to take away your Medicare. We've covered it extensively. You guys know this. Take a listen to this.
Because I'm concerned about our democracy. I fought for it once, I would fight for it again. We need to straighten up the terrible mistake that is being made in Washington.
And it's sad because I don't think that person would be out leaving their homes, doing anything like that if they knew the truth about what was going on, right? If they just had some, okay, there's going to be cuts, waste, abuse, and fraud. But, sir, you're not going to lose anything. Actually, it'll keep you having it 9 to 10 years from now, when right now things like Social Security are going bankrupt. And I just find it really sad. But this is what we're seeing. We're going to show you a thing on Pete Hegseth. Same thing. Everything they did. Remember the original Signal Gate? That lasted 48, 72 hours. Nobody cared. The whole thing went off as planned. It was successful and everything else, but Democrats couldn't tell you it was successful. They did a good job. Oh no, they used Signal Chat and they included a reporter. And some people say it might have even been on purpose. Great distraction for the administration, right? So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But one thing I do want to point out is this was interesting. A thief stole DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's bag this weekend, including her driver's license, medication, apartment keys, passport, DHS access bag, makeup bag, blank checks, and about $3,000 in cash. And it must be hard for CNN and places to report this because they'll tell you there is no crime. Don't believe what you see on those podcasts. We are better off than we've ever been because of Joe Biden. And we learned last year when they kept putting out fake statistics that it didn't include some of the largest cities with the largest crime when they said crime was down. When the actual statistic came up, crime is up. Our own DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who is fighting it for us, for the future of this country, had this happen to her. And I thought that was really, really telling of where we are right now and why we need these strong people in there. So let's get into Pete Hegseth now. So the Department of Defense, they had some people in there that were bad actors. We know we need to clean them out, right? I know some people want it to happen overnight. It doesn't always happen overnight. Some people want it to happen faster. I get that sentiment. I was looking at this post here, and it says the statement posted on X by Dan Caldwell, senior advisor to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, comes after Caldwell was investigated over an alleged unauthorized disclosure. That's what we call a leaker, somebody who leaks stuff. That's a traitor. It says CNN previously reported Hegseth Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Selnick and Deputy Secretary of Defense Steve Feinberg, Chief of Staff Colin Carroll, who were also fired this week, signed on to the statement. And here's the statement. It says, at this time, we have still not been told exactly what we were investigated for, if there is still an active investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of leaks to begin with, the trio wrote. They added, all three of us served our country honorably in uniform. For two of us, this includes deployment to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And based on our collective service, we understand the importance of information security and worked every day to protect it. So we've seen this time and time again, traitors leaking information, putting stuff out there. And guess what? I remember, and I actually seen this guy, I can't stand him, on one of the talk shows yesterday morning. Rance Priebus. Remember when Rance Priebus was in the White House in 2016 and there was all these leaks getting out there? And you noticed when he was out at the White House, all of a sudden those leaks stopped. They have these people that are working against this administration, working, it doesn't matter how many years of service you've done. We've seen military people that have had over 30 years of service that go against everything. We had, what was it? The general last time who was working behind Trump's back telling China, if we decide to attack, I'll let you know. Again, those people should be court-martialed and end up in Gitmo. But so all of a sudden, after they fire these leakers and people that are doing stuff, all these bombshell reports come out about Pete Hegseth. Surprising? Not at all. Listen to this one from Morning Joe. And again, I was listening to this yesterday on the morning news. And I'm going to pull this up right here because we're going to cover this a little bit. Hold on.
Of the state. In other news this morning, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reportedly used his personal phone to disclose information about U.S. military operations in Yemen. This is a different group chat situation. This is another Signal group chat where he shared sensitive information. Two sources with knowledge of the matter tell NBC News 13 people were in the chat, including Hegseth's wife and brother. The sources say Hegseth sent the messages after an aide warned him to not share sensitive information on Signal. Okay, this comes a month after the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, revealed the Trump administration accidentally added him to a Signal group chat about Yemen attack plans. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has taken responsibility for creating that message chain. According to the New York Times, the other group chat was started by Hegseth. The secretary shared essentially the same information in both groups, including the flight schedules for the military jets that targeted the Houthis.
Oh my gosh.
The information was reportedly sent to both chats at roughly the same time. What's going on here? 4 people familiar with the chat tell the New York Times that Hegseth's chat was named Defense Team Huddle, and it did not include any other cabinet-level officials. It was initially created as a forum for discussing routine, administrative, or scheduling information. Sources tell the paper Hegseth did not usually discuss sensitive military operations. Hegseth's chat included his wife, who is a former Fox News producer and not a Defense Department employee. His brother and personal lawyer were also in the chat. They both have jobs in the Pentagon, but it's not known why they would need to know anything about attack plans in Yemen. In a statement, the chief Pentagon spokesperson denied any classified information was shared in either of the Signal chats.
So again, all of a sudden, some leakers get fired and we have more leaks. And what does the media do? They run with it like it's true. We've seen this time and time again. We got a couple other things here. This is what, again, this is the story. This is what they're running with for a couple days. This will all be dead in a week, and they'll be on to their next propaganda hit piece. And this one was from Midas Touch. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared detailed information about forthcoming strikes in Yemen on March 15 in a private Signal group chat that included his wife, brother, and personal lawyer, according to 4 people with knowledge of the chat. You notice who? Let's talk about who. Says some of those people said that the information Mr. Hegseth shared on Signal chat, including the flight schedules of the FA-18 Hornet targeting Houthis in Yemen, essentially the same attack plans that he shared on a separate Signal chat the same day he mistakenly included the editor-in-chief of the Atlantic. So we need... Democrats have nothing. It's tear down the Trump administration, go after Pete, go after Tulsi, go after Trump. Not, hey, this is our platform. This is where we're stand. This whole time, since it's no different than 2016, no different that we see now is a bunch of lies. What's going to happen? What's not going to happen? If you remember, last time up until COVID, we had some of the greatest accomplishments when it came to the economy, real wages, jobs, manufacturing. And this is what they're trying to do to take Pete down right now. It says, let's see. Let me go to the next one here. Here's Pete's response at the Easter egg hunt. I just love it because calling him out. Call him out.
What do you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies and on hoaxes, time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. Hoaxsters. This group, no, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know it, we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much. Have spoken to the president, and we are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
I just love it, man. I just love the fact that these people don't cower down. Oh, CNN wrote another hit piece. It's like it's like some of these hit pieces that you know, the things they put out about me. I should have brought them up, but because we were at that school board meeting, and because we've been traveling and doing things, and you know, all these things that they say about me, I'm live almost everywhere I go when we are traveling and covering these stories, and I'm like, man, you would think some of your lies about me would be somewhere on video. They're not. Why? Well, I mean, can I magically edit when I'm live the things they say I do and all this? But again, that's the only defense they have, is to lie and try to destroy someone's character. All they've done for me is build us up. They've helped out the Oreo army. I mean, somebody that has a, what is it? A Palestinian flag. What was the one that wrote a little hit piece on me? A Palestinian flag. It had a Ukraine flag and then a trans flag on their profile. Yeah, someone's going to take you serious. Maybe to the 5150 mental ward. And then we have, it looks like Trump made a comment right here about Pete.
President Trump, do you remain confident in Hegseth? Pete Hegseth?
Oh, totally.
President Trump, I'm sorry.
Why do you even ask a question like that? We have recruitment that's at an all-time high, the spirit in the armed forces. And great confidence.
President Trump, do you remain confident in Hegseth?
They ask, well, do you remain confident in Hegseth? And he's like, why would you even ask that question? See if it's going to load here.
Pete Hegseth?
Oh, totally.
President Trump, I'm sorry.
Why do you even ask a question like that? We have recruitment that's at an all-time high, the spirit in the armed forces.
And Pete also responded. I wonder if it's up. I don't know if I pulled it up. Let me find this last one before we move on to the next one. And he just called them out again. The left is using these people that have just totally destroyed this country. I mean, you look at the Easter egg hunt, you know, you don't have no elephants identifying as Easter bunnies this year, all those things. But Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, had a great reply. I want to see if it's still up. I don't think it is. Maybe it was under his. Let me see. Yeah, you know what? It's probably under his personal account. Let's see. I think it's going to be over here. Let's see. Replies. I think it was a reply to the Democrat Party. Yeah, here it is. Look at this. Democrats put Pete Hegseth needs to go. This was yesterday. And he goes, your agenda is illegal, trans, and DEI, all of which are no longer allowed at the Department of Defense. It's no more like, I will say that was a lot of the problem with the first administration, not necessarily with Trump by any stretch of the imagination. But when Trump would attack back, some of his staff and the people that he's appointed be like, oh, you can't do that. That's just improper. They want you to roll down, lay down, and take it. And that's not what you can do when the media, which the legacy media, with a failing legacy media, has just been putting controversies in front of you, putting hoaxes in front of you, putting propaganda in front of you, and running with it. So, hey, and one other thing. So, I just got a reminder right here. Bad Mom Bree's in the house. Check that out. Karen Sunflower, Texas Bigfoot, Raider. Thank you guys for being in here. So, check this out. We talked about it on our drive back home. So, tomorrow, down in Los Angeles area again, there is another school board meeting. There's going to be some patriots and there's going to be some opposing stuff. I have to return the rental car today unless I extend it. So I called this morning just to see what it would cost to extend till Wednesday. So that would be because we'd go down to LA, go to the school board meeting, stay the night in LA, and drive back the following morning. And that's another $90, $87, something like that, plus gas and lodging. So if we can come up with that money today, I'll extend it, or at least half of it, like probably the rental car and the gas, half the gas. So like $150 today, I will extend it. And tomorrow morning, we will head down to LA, see our Patriot friends. So if you guys do want that, no big deal if you don't. But if you guys do want to help out and pitch in on that, we will head out tomorrow morning back down to Southern California where they love us. And all you have to do, any donation helps, whether it's $5 or $50. Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army. And then we also have our givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then if you prefer to use Zelle with your banking app, you can go over to our website, theoreoexpress.com. And you scroll down a little, there's a donate now button. It'll have all those links. And again, I have to make the decision by about 1 o'clock today. It's almost 11 here, so I got 2 hours to make the decision. We'll probably be live for another 45 minutes. So I'll have a pretty good idea here shortly if we're going to do that or return the car. But I want to appreciate all your support. You guys have constantly supported us. We appreciate you. And again, we know some of those Patriots we talked to last week when we were down in Chino Hills. They're going to be, some of those folks are going to be out there. Again, this is a bill to protect parental rights, which we've covered, 60 of those school board meetings. This one's down in Southern California. And if you guys want to help out, we appreciate you. We can't do it alone. And you guys always rock. So check this out. There's going to be some other stuff on our next show too, but Democrat Jamie Raskin. This is the same Democrat before Trump was inaugurated this time that said they would execute some powers and not allow him to be inaugurated during the certification. Even stated that they would have a kind of a civil war and was okay with that. Now, I want you to listen to what he's saying now. They are doing everything they can to not let Trump's agenda go through. Why? Because Trump's agenda works, and they know it. If Trump had something that was going to fail, they would allow it to fail so they could regain power and control. We know that. Like I said, we don't need Biden out of office. Let him stay in there. Look at what he's doing to the Democrat Party. And we were right. It would be no difference if Democrats thought Trump's tariffs, his other policies, his border policies, his deportation policies, if they knew they were going to fail, they would allow them to go through. Take a listen to this.
We should be talking about cutting off aid to El Salvador right now. The whole idea, we should be talking about cutting off aid to El Salvador right now. The whole idea that Bukele doesn't have any power to return.
So because our country's working with El Salvador, and not just that, they cut down all their crime by doing a lot of what conservatives want to do here in the United States, like punishing criminals. Listen to this. Come on, open up already.
We should be talking about cutting off aid to El Salvador right now. The whole idea that Bukele doesn't have any power to return an American prisoner who was sent to him under an agreement where he's getting paid $6 million by America is ridiculous. He's our legal agent in this dubious arrangement they've created. Of course, he's got the power to return them. So he and Trump are just acting like a couple of dictators having fun at the expense of a man's life and his family, and they want to be able to do that all over the place. So I like that idea, and it's a complement to something that we need to be doing right now, which is engaging in far more work of transnational democratic solidarity with the democratic governments and the democratic movements and peoples and parties of the world to try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us. But implicit in it should be the idea that if and when we come back to power, and we will, we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitated, to use a word of the day, who facilitated authoritarianism in our country.
Listen to what he says. He says, we will return to power. And countries, pretty much, I'm going to break it down. Countries that work with Trump, there will be retribution. You can't make this up. Again, they are doing everything they can to ensure that other countries are like, wait a second. I mean, they're doing it here in the United States, but I mean, to threaten foreign countries, we are not going to look kindly on those who work with President Trump. President Trump, whether you like him or not, was elected president. They did everything they could to stop that from happening, whether it was all 34 felonies, whether it was attacking him here, attacking him there. Everybody was working against Trump. He can't win. We're going to do this. They even pulled a coup in their own party by replacing their 2024 presidential candidate, which was Joe Biden, and installing Kamala Harris in a coup. They did everything. They are panicking. 21% approval rating for Democrats from their own party. This ain't going well, folks. Now you have them threatening other countries. It's just crazy. Old Uncle Bill, thank you so much. We got a BMO. We got a Zelle. Thank you, Old Uncle Bill, for that. Old Uncle Bill helped out with $25, so we're about $125 away now. $150 is the total just to get us going. We'll get more when we're on the road. Always go by faith. But right now, old Uncle Bill, thank you so much. So we got $125 to go, guys, if we want to go up there down there to Southern California, that school board meeting tomorrow. Now, you know what's so funny? How many times they called us conspiracy theorists? Whether it was the vaccine, whether it was the mask, whether it was all these things going on. So much so that we were considered conspiracy realists by the end. Look at this headline right here. We're going to talk about this. New Mexico Democrat judge resigns after ICE arrest alleged Tren de Aragua gang member in his home. I'm not making this up, folks. I am not making this up. This is from, these pictures were from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of New Mexico. This is a U.S. judge right here, guys. Now, we've said, you know, there's some things going on, New Mexico, Arizona, Katie Hobbs. Again, we've been to New Mexico and covered the border near Sunland Park and all these other places. Just interesting. Take a look at some of this other stuff. This was from the Post-Millennial. Dim New Mexico judge resigns after alleged Tren de Aragua member found living in his home. You can't make this stuff up. Like, if you thought you were going to hear something today that was earth-shattering or breaking, this should be on every breaking news. I promise you, if this judge was a conservative and he was appointed by a conservative and he had some Russian living in his home that was illegal and was from some Russian gang, you would turn off your TV because that's all you would hear about. But because it's a Democrat judge, and because it's, again, illegal alien gang member, which for some reason is on a pedestal with the Democrat Party right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We covered that last week. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Let's see what this one says. Take a look. This one says, an undated social media image shows former Doña Ana County Magistrate Joel Cano left with Christian Ortega Lopez, who was arrested on February 28th at the judge's Las Cruces home. The image was included in federal court filings seeking to detain Ortega Lopez through his trial on weapons charges. That just seems really strange. Like, what? You guys know it was much more going on than just, we were having margaritas, right? Because we know Democrats love to have margaritas with gang members. This is insane. It says, this is from one of the publishers, someone who publishes over there. It says, Magistrate Joel Cano has resigned from the bench where he sat since 2011. Although his resignation letter dated March 3rd did not state his reason for stepping down, it followed shortly after a man awaiting deportation proceeding accused by federal law enforcement of being affiliated with the Venezuelan gang was arrested at Cano's home. What else don't we know? Where's the investigation into this judge? I mean, what a strange, like, I'm just being honest with you. When you think about judges, and you think of, they're normal people, they are. But the nobody is above the law crowd would probably have you think that these judges probably hang out with good folks, probably legal citizens, probably people that aren't facing charges from Homeland Security, probably not having those people in their home. Seemed like that would just be a conflict. And here we have this. Take a look at this picture, dude. This is insane. That's the judge in the middle. I'm speechless. I don't get speechless very often. I'm speechless. That's the judge. Now, I want an investigation into this judge, finances. I want all his records. I want everything, because he was harboring an illegal alien in his home. And this happened on February 28th. He resigned March 3rd. We're now almost to May, and we're just hearing about it now. Once again, where's the media? Where's the media? It's the whole reason we do what we do. This is just insane. This is just insane. Listen to this Breitbart article I'm going to put in the background. I'll have it. It says, listen to story.
New Mexico Democrat judge resigns after ICE arrests alleged Tren de Aragua gang member in his home. By Bob Price on April 20, 2025. A Democrat judge in New Mexico resigned from his bench last month after immigration agents arrested an alleged Tren de Aragua gang member living in his home. The illegal alien entered the U.S. in Eagle Pass, Texas, before being released on an immigration parole due to overcrowding. He eventually moved to New Mexico. Federal prosecutors in the District of New Mexico allege that 23-year-old Cristian Ortega Lopez was illegally in possession of a firearm and has ties to the hyper-violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. Earlier this year, President Donald Trump and the U.S. State Department declared the gang to be a foreign terrorist organization. Venezuelan illegal with alleged Tren de Aragua ties arrested for possession of firearm while reportedly living at home of New Mexico judge. Judge Jose Joel Cano abruptly resigned days after ICE HSI raided his house in Las Cruces. Full story coming. pic.twitter.com/You'veCracked2PDT. Border Hawk, at Border Hawk News, April 18, 2025.
So they literally raided a judge's home. This guy wasn't visiting. This guy wasn't coming over for a pool party. He lived in this judge's home. He had crossed over illegally. Did they say Eagle Pass, Texas? I think they said Eagle Pass, Texas, but I could be wrong on the part. How does an illegal alien come into the country illegally? He's got ties to Tren de Aragua and end up living with a judge unless that judge is 180% corrupt. This story, it's frustrating right here because you know there's a lot more behind this story. This isn't the first time. What connections did this judge have? Is he working with people in Venezuela? Was he human trafficking? Is he working in the drug trade? I just don't get that. I mean, I think most of you I think a lot of you might have had people live with you in the past, but you probably know these people. You probably vet these people just like we want people vetted that are coming into our country. And this judge, I am quite amazed right now because, again, if I flip through my TV screen, I'm not going to see this. And this seems pretty big to me. I'm going to definitely follow up on this. But, again, it's a Democrat judge. We know what Democrats do. I want you to look at this right here. This is, again, Senator Van Hollen, who just went over to a foreign country, El Salvador, to go meet with an MS-13 gang member who was deported. He's got a history of domestic violence, human trafficking, and they want to call him the Maryland dad. They want to try to kind of like, Fentanyl Floyd. Remember when Fentanyl Floyd, they put a little halo and angel wings on CNN whenever they did an article. That's what they're doing. I want you to listen. He made his little talking rounds yesterday on the Sunday morning shows.
And now.
Listen. That's a good point.
Well, you're
Kimber, how many other judges are doing this same thing? That's why if we investigate that judge right there, we might find some answers to some other things. Take a listen to this, though.
And joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. He recently returned to El Salvador, where he met with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's also a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. And Senator, Pope Francis's last words, final public remarks, focused on this theme. How much contempt is stirred up at times toward the vulnerable, the marginalized, and migrants. Francis
Listen to what she's saying. Listen to the wordage she's using. This is a criminal. This is a gang member.
Wrote in a papal address delivered on Easter Sunday yesterday by a Vatican aide to the crowds gathered in St. Peter's Square. And here we are, you on, I guess, just back now from El Salvador, dealing with the issue of just one of the many people who have been forcibly removed, disappeared. I mean, some might even see it as a kidnapping. It's definitely not a deportation. Where does the plight of Kilmar Abrego Garcia stand now?
Well, you're very right. I read Pope Francis's remarks. He was a beautiful soul, a pope for all of humanity, and he focused on the most vulnerable and on natural rights, on the right of everybody to be free under the law. And the whole point here that we're making is that the Trump administration needs to respect the Constitution of the United States. When you threaten the rights of one man like Abrego Garcia, take away the rights of one man like Abrego Garcia, you threaten the rights for everybody. In this case, the Trump administration is flouting the law, because the Supreme Court on a 9-0 ruling said that they had to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia. I was just down there, as you said. I met with them. The embassy, the Trump administration is doing nothing right now to comply with that court order. What they're doing is trying to change the subject, as if you can't comply with the Constitution and fight gang violence. I've been fighting MS-13 longer than Donald Trump probably ever uttered the word.
He's been fighting. So we're going to talk about something crazy that happened while news that came out. Remember, he was the representative for Rachel Morin, the mother who was murdered by a gang member, an illegal allowed in by the Democrats, Mayorkas and Biden and all the Democrats that have blood on their hand. And he's saying he's been fighting MS-13 longer than President Trump. What has he done? Well, this is the interesting thing. This will get you fired up, folks. This will get you fired up. I'm going to jump right to it, and then we'll go back a little. While he was online, news broke. Listen to this.
Notorious prison in El Salvador is.
Listen to this.
On the inside, one of the recent deportees. What did Mr. Abrego Garcia tell you about the conditions inside? What is it like to sleep? How often are they let out of their cell? And have these men been given any kind of information about how long they will be incarcerated there?
So starting with your last question, one of the things about CCOT, which is this notorious prison in El Salvador, is that the prisoners there have no communication with the outside world. None. Not with their lawyers, not with their families, which in itself is a violation of international law. He told me that when he was first moved to...
So there he goes, worried, standing up. But I want you to look at the right there. While he was literally making his talk show rounds, it came out 2 Maryland men have been arrested over the murder of a 23-year-old mother whose body was found on April 17th, buried outside the Cedarville State Forest in Prince George's County, the same county where Kilmar Abrego Garcia lived. So again, this is the representative. It says illegal alien Kaisai Robinson Alexi Barrera Rosa, 24, was arrested out of state and will be transported back to Maryland to face charges. Rolvin Eduardo Barrera, 37, of unknown immigration status as of yet, was charged with being accessory to the murder. So while he's going on, another young woman, 23 years old, was murdered by an illegal alien. Let me see if I can pull up the other one really quick. Here it is. Look at this. This is the actual post right here. There's the 2 guys, probably both illegal. Right now we know one is illegal. That one's illegal. This one, they haven't confirmed yet. And there's the victim. There's the victim. This man who says he's been fighting MS-13 longer than President Trump. Give me a break. Your party was bringing him in, rolling out the red carpet, using Border Patrol as Uber rides, taking Border Patrol off the borders so they can provide them with water, so they can make sandwiches for them instead of protecting our borders and stopping the fentanyl. This man, somehow, there's got to be laws on the books that can hold these people responsible for all these deaths. Another one, April 17th. Guess what? He's the representative. He's a senator for that area. Is he going to contact this mother? He didn't contact Rachel Morin's mother. He didn't care. He didn't tweet about it. He's tweeted about 20 times or more. Did a whole photo op on your tax dollars. Flew to El Salvador. Had margaritas with the man. Just listen to him. This was a different one I didn't show you earlier. This was Meet the Press.
Abrego. I'm not sure why Abrego Garcia's rights should be denied based on an awful murder that he had absolutely nothing to do with.
Talking about Rachel Morin there. Not talking about this new murder. We're going to see how this plays out. Let me see if I can pull this up. See if there's any updated stuff. You got judges that are corrupt. This is crazy. Trying to pull this up really quick. See if they've got. Keycy. See what it pulls up. This is. Yeah, on April 17, 2025, the body of Lesbia Melith Ramirez Guerrera, a 23-year-old mother of two, was found buried near Cedarville State Forest. Who's suspected of doing the crime? An illegal. I don't see anybody from mainstream media posting any of this. Really quick, let me pull this up on the. I just don't know, guys. I just don't know how this country can handle these activist judges. This was him this morning, I think, returning to Washington, D.C.
Record and human trafficking
As I
concerns?
said, everything should be presented to the federal.
Were you aware of Kilmar's domestic violence on his record and human trafficking
As I
concerns?
said, everything should be presented to the federal district court.
His domestic violence, his human trafficking, his ties to MS-13. Actually, two judges found that he was MS-13. He had a deportation order. This isn't some innocent suspect. That the Maryland dad, right? That's what. Now the wife is posting the pictures up so she can raise more money on her Give Send Go. You know what? Right now, she's going to head back to whatever country she's from too, and she's going to live high off the hog. Before we get moving on, let me do this really quick. See if it loads up on time. Come on. Should load up. Continue. I don't see it up there. It says no campaigns available. Hold on one second, guys. I got to get this. See where we're at. It's on there. But I don't see it. It's not giving me a readout right now. So if you guys want to head over to 1775coffee.com, use promo code STUDIO. You get 15% off. Again, this helps Rumble This is Rumble's coffee right here. This helps out with our free speech. Rumble's been a platform that we've been able to pretty much bring you guys the truth for quite a while when we were censored off everything else. It says weak coffee is for the weak, and at Rumble, weak has never been part of the mission. No fillers, no fraud, and no settling for mediocrity, just like 1775 coffee. It's single origin, small farm, hand-picked, specialty grade coffee that stands for quality, free speech, and calling out BS when it matters. Forget stale, mass-produced beans roasted just enough to hide the flaws. Dark roast hits like a Trump tariff. Medium roast keeps it bold without the bitterness. And Vitality Mushroom Blend, real energy and lasting focus. No synthetic garbage. For K-Cup pods, whole beans, or fresh ground coffee, go to 1775coffee.com. Use code STUDIO for 15% off and start your morning with coffee that stands for something. And don't forget, every dollar spent enters you to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 cash. Again, you get the cash, you can give me the Cybertruck, or vice versa. We'll be good. But I want to thank you guys for sticking with me and sticking on Rumble for as long as we've been here. We appreciate you. And don't forget, we're supposed to be turning, if you guys are just joining in, I said this about 40 minutes ago, we're supposed to be turning in the rental car that we used all week to be all over the state. But there is a school board meeting that has to do with parental rights tomorrow down in Southern California. I know there's going to be a group of patriots there. Whenever that happens, there's usually some opposition. So what we're looking at doing, and I got to make up my mind by 2 o'clock today, 2 o'clock, that I called today. It's about another close to $90 to extend the rental car 2 days. So we would need that. And we would also need gas, food, and lodging. But right now our goal is $150. Bill donated $25. So we're at $125 left. Then if we can get to that point, I'll extend the rental car and we'll just go on faith the rest of the way and raise the money the rest of the way for the hotel and the food and the gas home. So if you guys do want to help out and contribute, and that way we could be at a school board meeting tomorrow night, go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, or givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. We also have a Zelle link on our website. Our website you can go to is theoreoexpress.com. When you go there, scroll down on our main page. There's a donate now button. It has our Zelle link, Venmo, Cash App, and our Give Send Go. We appreciate your support, guys. We can't do it without you. What else do we have left? Let's see. So speaking of that senator flying over there, now we have Rep. Robert Garcia, Maxwell Frost, Yazamin Ansari, and Maxine Dexter arrived in El Salvador to pressure the Trump administration to abide by a Supreme Court order. So again, this person was returned to their home country. This person's from El Salvador. What do you want the Trump administration to do? Go over there and steal one of their citizens? No. This was from Breitbart. This was 4 more congressional Democrats have landed in El Salvador. Think about that. Think about that. Nobody's going to land where that 23 or 24-year-old woman was just murdered and comfort her family. Nobody's going to land to talk to Rachel Morin and all the other people that we've seen, all these young, beautiful girls, these young children that are raped. We've gave you the statistics on some of these people that have been arrested since Trump's been in office. The human trafficking, the child rape, all these things. And Democrats want to put a stop to that. You have to ask yourself why. You have to ask, and if you don't know why yet, man, listen to this, though. There is some...
The United States Secretary of Homeland Security. An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Man, I just don't know how.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with.
I don't understand how this PSYOP that's been working with the legacy media has worked so well on people. That people could see that and say, that's mean. We shouldn't arrest that child rapist. We shouldn't deport these people. And then there's that argument, well, innocent people are being picked up. That was the warning. And when I say innocent, they're in this country illegally. They haven't committed more crimes since they were here. That's going to get more and more common. Why? Because the Democrats and the sanctuary cities are working against Donald Trump. So like they said, like Tom Homan said, if we're looking for a suspected gang member that's wanted for rape or murder, and we go into a home to track this person down and arrest him, and there's 5 other illegals in there, we're going to take them too. That wouldn't happen if law enforcement that released that man from jail would have just handed him over to ICE. There's going to be collateral damage, and you're going to see that, and it's going to get more and more common, guys. More and more common. We see it all the time. This is awesome. I love this one. This is what I voted for. So you guys know we have our military at the southern border. We've done multiple executive orders under the Trump administration. Check this out.
Along the border. The soldiers from Fort Carson, Colorado, using thermal and infrared cameras on the striker, watching tiniest movements along the border.
Even like a little mouse.
Up to a little mouse?
Yeah, up to a little mouse, like up to like a mile out.
With the strikers and soldiers, President Trump is creating a border barrier that is more than just a wall. He has now authorized the military to take control of a 60-foot strip of federal land along the border, stretching from California to New Mexico. Now, migrants would be crossing into a military installation. It would allow soldiers to make apprehensions, a job that, until now, has been reserved. The soldiers from Fort Carson, Colorado, using thermal and infrared cameras on the striker, watching tiniest movements along the border.
For what Trump said he would do. Promises made, promises kept. But once again, we have activist judges that are working against the deportations, working against the Enemies Aliens Act that Trump is using. And I don't know what it's going to take. Again, I ask you all to get active. I ask you all to call your representatives, your congressmen, your senators. Let them know, even if you're in a blue area, guess what? Hey, at least you're letting your voices be heard. Attend local stuff. But again, a lot of it has to do with, we have our big battle, and we've won it recently through social media and with your help, was that when people, average people, turn on their news that don't know who I am, don't know who you are, don't know about podcasts, they go to work, they wake up in the morning, they get in the shower, they make their kids lunch for the school day, they get in their car, they head off to work. They go work a full day. They get off work, they pick up their kids, they grab something through a quick drive-through, drop their kids off at soccer, baseball, whatever practice, come home. They get maybe an hour, 45 minutes with their kids, get their kids washed up to bed. They don't know what's going on. The news they get is from the news on the TV in the background. And we show you that news every day. Your local lying media stations. And we have to reach those people, whether they're your neighbors, whether they're your friends, whether they're your families. We have to come up with creative ways to reach them. because I think most of them, there's some that don't want to bury their head in the sand because it's a lot to deal with. It is a lot to deal with. I know I've talked to people all the time. And when you know what's going on, especially if you're a parent or a grandparent and you know what your children or grandchildren are in for, sometimes people don't want to fight that fight. They think if they just ignore it, it'll go away. And I have to tell you, this isn't going anywhere. It's been getting worse and worse. And now we have activist judges that are literally going against the will of the American people. Trump still has high poll numbers, higher than his first term. Even after everything they've been lying about, even after, he's deporting the Maryland dad to a prison. This guy was just a hardworking dad. No, a human trafficker, MS-13 gang member, wife beater, all these things. And you know what? Hey, he could have cleaned up his life. I don't know. I'm not judging him on that. I'm judging him on the fact that he came here illegally. He had a deportation order, so he went through the process and was still in the United States. And now we have a president that actually wants to do something. Let me see what other comments we have here before we head on out to start working on the next show. Lee Bart, what's up? How you doing? Old Uncle Bill says, let's get Josh to the board meeting and back home again, the OreoExpress.com. That's right, guys. We got one donation so far that I see, which was from Old Uncle Bill. We're trying to raise $150 to extend the rental car for 2 days so we can go down to LA tomorrow, cover a school board meeting. Has to do with parental rights. You know how these school board meetings go. If we can, by, again, like 2 o'clock today, I have to extend the rental car. That's almost $90. Plus, I would like to have gas money to head down there. If we can raise that, we're 125 away. We will be on the road tomorrow for another 5-hour drive there and a 5-hour drive home. So I want to say thank you to all those that have supported us. If you want to see us down there and covering it live, you can donate at Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, GiveSendGo.com/Oreo 2024. Or as always, we have a Zelle link on our website, theoreoexpress.com. Go down. There's a donate now button, and you guys, and it'll have all those links, including our Zelle link. So we're going to start working on the next show. I'll give you guys an answer when we start the next show if we're going or not. But again, thank you, Old Uncle Bill. Let me just make sure somehow I didn't get a notification. I will check Cash App. Let's see. No, the last one. And Venmo. No. Let's see. Where are we at on Venmo? Okay. So, yeah, if you guys want us to go, I want to say thank you. Appreciate you all. Jay keeps asking, says, I'm going to go over to GiveSendGo. Right on. Yeah, we want to break that 150 before the next show so I can make that phone call and extend the rental car, guys. Look for us here in it's 11:30, so probably 3.5 hours, about 3 o'clock my time, most likely. That'll give me time to prep the next show. And we will see you guys soon. God bless and have a great rest of your day. Take care.